Oh, come on, turn on. Come on, bitch. There we go. Really? Come on. Seriously? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Come on. Okay, whatever. And Bluetooth don't connect. Boo. Boo. Oh my goodness. Goodness. Man. All freaking day today. I've been pretty much like freaking deer in headlights, what it feels like. Ay. Straight up, just like, didn't get that much sleep last night. But that cough can't help. And at the same time, it's like shit, dude. Definitely hasn't exactly been super helpful. It's helpful enough to at least kind of get me to a bare minimal, but not exactly completely. So, whatever. He's what he is on that. Like this to turn on, please. Come on, bitch. Really? Maybe this will that help? Doing that. Oh. Come on. Try this. Turn that on, and now this. There we go. Come on. It'd be nice for you to connect. It's not that hard. Fuck you too, then. It's like, nah, not gonna. Like, no, you actually. It's just like what my fucking headphones or my Bluetooth is doing. It's just like, yeah, no, you actually. We're not going to connect because fuck you, that's why. Ah, Dios mío. Oh, Dios mío. I like this bishop. Oh. That'll definitely help me out for the day. Oh my god, so much better. So much better. My goodness. Oh, man. And at least today for working, it ain't that bad, but holy fucking shit. Just tired as hell. And I don't like it. I wish that the walkthrough would just happen already, just so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Because, I don't even know how I have like one more deep clean shift after all this. I don't even get it. Everything's been pretty goddamn caught up and pretty damn spick and span at this point. I don't know what else could be done outside of like finishing up our hot cases, which is going to happen later tonight anyway, and having a bunch of people come in and clean our floor, or not floors, but our like the walls and the ceiling. Which is going to be a fuckload of people coming in for that later tonight. So it's like, what the hell do we do? It's like at this rate, we're pretty much like got all of our shit done. For the most part, it's just basically keeping everything up. But it's like, do we need to be here till like midnight or some shit for that? It's like, God. Ugh. At least things are all chill for the most part about it. So can't really, be like too critical about it, but still, it's just like, ugh. But at least it's like, what, tonight, and then one more fucking day. And then it's my Friday, and I got deep clean shit, so I ain't doing that. I'm just like, nope. Definitely not. I'm hearing them also kind of like talk about Friday when the walkthrough is happening, which is my birthday, so my day off. So, and they're kind of like in this low key, kind of like, we don't know how Friday's going to be. We're just going to kind of gauge it and wing it. I'm just like, I didn't realize apparently I was a linchpin for Friday because now they're confused about what to do because they don't. I think they know that like I do a pretty decent job at least make sure it kind of look busy and doing stuff and all sort of shit. So I think they're kind of like, well, we don't have one of the best ones there, in the department to kind of like, raise up the, the fucking walkthrough corpos or whatever. So it's like, oh well, ain't my problem. Going out and having fun and shit. So 2 weeks, bro. Till I'm assuming moving. Can't wait to move. Yeah, figured. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just kind of like, except for a walkthrough, kind of how I feel with these next few days. I just can't wait for it to be fucking over and just be done with it. But even then, it's not completely over because then after my department manager comes back from vacation, after I come back, she's gonna be like, I don't even want people like hit me up or nothing. And when I come back, I still don't even really want that because I'm gonna be spending like the next week just reorganizing what has been like clusterfucked in a sense, which I don't blame her. There's a lot of shit that's just like either misplaced or like it just totally different spots and having like run around being like, what the fuck is this? Kind of shit. So it's annoying. And with that, at least, it's like, I don't mind like getting shit reorganized stuff, but like, it is a little kind of like, where's this? Where's that? Because it's a little bunk. Out of weed already? Damn rip. Oh, you know what? That actually does remind me. One of my coworkers asked about if I could give a little something, so I guess I'll be a good boy. Be a good friend. I'll give him a little extra. There we go. Ugh. Ah, Dios mío. Doggo's a pity. You told me that. You were saying that yesterday. Deep doggo bark. It's kind of like Zukhov's bark because he does that. He might not look like it, but he's one of those doggos where he has like a, it's not maybe not that deep, but it's deeper than you would think. But he also has this, like he also does that too. It's like a weird little mixture. Like he'll do that, and then he'll do like these kind of little like heavy gruffs. But looks like he ain't in the mood for that right now. He's just all like sleepy. She accidentally sent me her Walmart order. What, like one of those like shop and deliver kind of things? That's a free dog food and groceries. Well, just bring that with you on the move. There you go. Or maybe she, did that because she already knows that your mom has a doggo, and thought, hey, I'll get you some groceries or some shit. Fuck it. She sent me a Walmart gift earlier. Well, seems like that's probably what she actually did. I don't think she accidentally sent anything to you then. Sounds like she did it as like straight up like, here's a gift. Barely. No, she did. No. Because I was there when she made the order. Oh. Well, well, I guess she did. Speaking of like orders and shit, like, or at least like, buying stuff, whatever the fuck, like, so like my store's been like really like harpy about that type of shit lately, and it's kind of to the point where it's like annoying as fuck. Because last night, like, I think you were in here for a little bit of it, but I was just like, I was getting kind of like I was about to leave after I got my shit, didn't keep a receipt because I barely ever do, and but the one at PSC that night, happened to see me, before I left, and she's like, "Oh, you're from Diller, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and it's like, "Oh, do you ever see just to make sure that all that's paid for?" I'm like, I mean, I don't have a receipt, but I bought it. I just never keep receipts, So it ended up just being a stupid fucking little ordeal, honestly. Not like an angry one in the sense of being like, "Well, what the fuck?" But it's just kind of like because I asked, "Is this like?" Just a general policy that they're asking about. And they're like, well, yeah, seems like it for the most part, and and all in all, it's kind of like, well, okay, I guess, because I just find it a little odd that, I have to like show a receipt for stuff I obviously bought, but okay. And so today, when I bought my coffee and this, I made sure I was like, oh, hey, this is bought, it's like, and I sat down over here. I was like, I'm going to probably take a $5 really quick before actually going on lunch, just so at least kind of drink some of that coffee. I mean, because I'm still like, well, at least then was still fucking out of it. So, and they're like, oh, all right, no worries. But, which also drives me nuts a little bit. Like, because everyone around seems obviously they know and don't give a shit. It's like, yeah, obviously he buys it, and buys it later. Like he'll just drop it off really quick. But our ops manager, knows that stuff before I actually bought it. And I just told her, it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna buy it really quick. I just haven't yet. I was gonna finish this up and do a quick $5 and, just at least drink some of the coffee and stuff and blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, okay, just make sure it's not on the counter in the department or anything. I was like, all right. And so all right, I was like, okay, fair enough, but hey, at least I told her, it's like, hey, I'm buying it, and I'll show you the receipt just to prove it. And she's like, oh, no worries, I believe you. Just want to make sure. And so I don't get it. Like, I don't know where this weird fucking like, you must have like you have to kind of weird thing no matter what. It's kind of like now it's starting to kind of piss me off a little now I think about it. Because if everyone else seems to see that, then I don't get it. Now it's making me assume that they probably do think I am like jacking stuff, or at least maybe Corpo is, or like management is. And, it's like, and it's just like, I mean, what, did they just see me like roll up, just have my shit there, and then I pick it up, and then I'll buy it later? But what, do they think I'm just like having it there so I will just like strategically sneak it or snag it? Or I don't get it. It's so stupid. It's really fucking annoying. I even told him, it's like, look, if I get pulled aside and asked about this, I'm going to just straight up be like, no. I'm just going to be, if anything, actually be kind of a little, actually just straight defensive back. Because to be like, what the fuck? Like, I can prove it, that I have been, just talk to literally anybody. The checkers, people self-check out, the PICs, my crew, like, literally anyone. They'll tell you the same shit. Bro, breathe. I am. You have to realize, like, when it comes to this walkthrough shit, it's not just like a stereotypical workday where it's like you go in, do your thing, and whatever, it's just usual shit kind of stuff. Like, it's fucking ridiculous with, with all these different little changes and shit that's been happening. And I know for at least to a certain degree, I ain't the only one that's getting like harped on about different bullshit. I think it really is just kind of across the board, and they're just like kind of nitpicking about certain things, with people to kind of make sure that I don't know, they fall in line. I guess I don't fucking know. Boss sounds uneducated. The thing is, she isn't really technically my boss. She's my boss's boss. At least when it comes to the ops manager. And I don't know what it is, but there's something about like upper management where it's like there is like a certain level of ego for sure. And also like I don't know, like the higher up the chain of like a business or some shit, the less legible handwriting is. I don't know why, but there's just something about that where it's just like, what? what am I reading here? I mean, my like concurrent boss, honestly, it's just like, I mean, she's like honestly not bad at all. It's just that, especially lately, she's just been like, you know what, fuck it. It's like, my ops basically kind of like doing all this shit randomly and all this other stuff, telling me this, but yet does that, and all this other shit. Like one thing that she mentioned was that like, oh, we can't have like boxes on the floor or whatever the fuck. And then Kim noticed it's like, did you move all these boxes over here? Because they happen to be stacked, from the floor up. I was like, no, but I moved them there because I know they're going to be working on the floor, so I kind of moved them out of the way. And she was like, so my ops is telling me that I can't have all this other shit, or do these things, but yeah, she's doing it. And then she just kind of looked at me like, and I was like, man, I don't get it because I get that. I don't know why, but it's great to come with everyone else apparently besides like us. Like the last few days, she's been really chill, and actually, it's been like honestly, if the ops manager, I don't really even honestly have any issues with her because she's always been chill with me. Even when reminding me about like, oh, make sure this isn't on the counter or whatever. She's not being like, hey man, like she's like, oh, just make sure, So I'm like, okay. I was even listening to Onion Nuggets a little bit, and I didn't have my earbud in because I don't want to deal with that bullshit. So I just had it on my phone, just like on the prep sync while I was making some fried. Well, not the prep sync, but like one of our counters, just listen to it. And she was walking by and she's like, you have your radio on? I was like, oh yeah, I just have my phone right there. And she's like, oh well, can't have that, like out because customer might hear about it. Now I at least told her it's like, well, I talked to Taylor about it once before because I got pulled aside about me wearing headphones and stuff, or at least having an earbud in, and and all that. So I asked about Bluetooth or just via speaker as long as it's not loud, and they said it's fine as long as no one complains about it. And she was like, "Oh, well, okay, but just for now, just because we're going for a walkthrough soon and all that, just not for right now." And I'm just like, "Okay, fine." And then when I tuned back to Onion Nuggets, they're already over. It was like a short fucking show today. Like I went on my quick little Fiverr to have my coffee, and then I was like, all right, let's see what Onion Nuggets going. And they're like, all right, well, peace, guys. And I was like, I tuned in like the last 5 seconds. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, all right, I guess people were stingy today. Because usually that show goes on for like 5 hours and shit, but not this time around. Just get certified to butt tend. I mean, yeah, I probably would make at least equivocal, but maybe at least a little more because of things like tips. But I mean, it's it's one of those things where it varies. I mean, the one thing is also I don't really want necessarily have to like always consistently have to like have some of my wage be tied to relying on tips because there are some weeks or some days where you might only be getting like $20 in tips versus like maybe like $300 or some shit. It just really depends on like the day or the week or whatever. She knows a few karaoke bars we go to. Hell yeah. Yeah, when y'all come up here, there's obviously there's my little spot, and because I'm such a regular there, I can pretty much just be like, just by proxy, probably have you introduced to pretty much everybody because everyone will be like, hey, what's up, man? Oh, these friends, and all of a sudden it's It will happen, dude. Whether you like it or not. But there's actually some pretty cool ass motherfuckers there. I think, like, I know for a fact if you probably were like chilling with, like, there's a few people, like, there's Loki there. There's a few others that there's at least a few characters there that I think you legit would probably vibe with. There we go. $420 square feet. Giggity. 420 square feet. Damn. That is pretty small, but hey, it's a nice rounded number. It's a good number. The herbal number. Come on. So the last little bit of the sheet. There we go. It's real small, but we can smoke there. Hell yeah. It's nice, you know, when you got like a place that is more laid back about that kind of shit. Because some places aren't. Like, there's like, you know, apartments that are like down the road from me a little bit. Honestly, not really a bad spot, but the owner of the place just straight up, you know, like, is really stingent about just smoke in general. So, like, a third of that apartment at any given time, you know, will like pretty much be outside or in the fields across the street or some shit, just chiefing, smoke cigarettes, whatever the fuck. I mean, you know, because like they can't do it on the property, so they just go there and end up just kind of making it almost like a little hangout park, essentially. Even though it's just a undeveloped field, like, and I've always wanted it to be like some sort of a little park or something like that, just because, I mean, why not? But I don't know. For me, it would make sense, but it just never has been. It's like never has ever been developed. We found several beautiful places in the city, but 90% are non-smoking. Yeah, and that's just, I mean, yeah, it's understandable because, like, it's, especially when it comes to cigarette smoke, it's really hard to remove that shit, you know, once it gets, like, kind of stuck and built up. So it's one of those things where, I mean, I definitely can understand it, but it should just be, like, kind of separated in a way. It's like you got, you know, like some, you know, units that are, you know, smoking okay, and then some that aren't. And just like, you know, have it like, you know, based off of like, you know, building A, building B, or some shit, you know, like, because a lot of apartments already do this stuff, you know, they kind of at least make it a little easy to, like, you know, number and alphabetically coordinate everything and shit. So it'd be simple to be like, oh yeah, you know, buildings C and D are like, you know, smoking units, and then A and B aren't. There you go. You know, it'd be simple. If you ever want to escape Oregon, and yeah, go into a heat ridden death zone. If I'm leaving Oregon, I'm going north. I'm not going south, okay? And also, I'm not leaving Oregon. Like, I mean, there's not really much of a reason for me to. I mean, whatever, like, opportunities and shit, you know, that at least we could do, or at least I could do, like, anywhere else in the country, I could do here and at least make it out a little better. Plus, I already am pretty established here. So, I mean, you know, it's like, all in all, I mean, there is at least, like, you know, like, outlets basically where I don't necessarily have to leave the state for that. I mean, I could go somewhere else in the state, like Bend, you know, somewhere on the coast, which that'd be honestly on my price range, unless it's like some ramshackle thing in Astoria or whatever the fuck. You know, I don't know. Like, I mean, for the most part, like there's anywhere in the state I could at least have opportunities to, make, a living, or at least, find something that is even like, somewhat doable, price wise. But if I want to be like somewhere like in Portland or like Eugene and shit, then for the most part, is going to, like for the most part, it'll just be kind of, and also priced out for the most part. Uh, you don't want to live on the coast. The weather's man. I don't know. I like the coastal weather. Honestly, I've been kind of yearning for the coast recently. So, no, no, like if it's, I got a little, that like kind of coastal, like, Northman fucking like seafarer in me. Okay. Like, so I got a little bit of like the ocean's call, a little bit. And it's pricey. That's the reason why, the only thing I probably would be able to get lucky with is like some poor ass fucking like low maintained, not or really maintained at all kind of fucking apartment or some shit, or like some ramshackle fixer upper that someone's renting off or whatever. It'd be some shit like that, and like some bumblefuck Astoria shit, or well, I mean Astoria wouldn't be bumblefuck, but outskirts of it or whatever. Like, cause yeah, like it's gonna be more pricey because a lot of those places are usually meant to like be like Airbnbs basically for in a lot of ways, where people during the summer rent them out, for a weekend or a month or whatever, and spend time out on the coast and then go back home after a time. I want to go to Medford. No, you don't. Like out of all the places in Oregon, Medford's one of the many that straight just suck. Once you get out of the metro, prices start to drop. Yeah. Pretty much anything outside the metro areas of like any like notable named like city around around here in Oregon and well Washington or any in general, like they're once you leave their metros, then yeah, it's definitely going to drop fairly significantly because of like the broader standard slash cost of living. What about Klamath? To be honest, I don't know too much about Klamath. It's just one of those like Southern Oregon small towns that it's not like small, but yeah, I mean it's there. Cold's fucking winter. Yeah, on the coast up here, it definitely does. Like if you want like those warm Pacific, like vibes and shit, go California. If you want just like nice and cozy coastal vibes that can be cold sometimes, you go to Oregon, Washington. Trying to scout places based on your knowledge. Well, if you're looking for something that's sustainable, but you still kind of maybe want to be near the metro area, like then you want to probably be somewhere like I'm trying to think honestly, because it's hard to gauge, frankly, because there are some places in Portland that are not great, but you can, if like bunking with a friend or two friends or something, can be doable. So I mean, Gresham, yeah, that's why I was like, because like the Gresham now. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's honestly some spots in Gresham that are actually kind of cool and but a lot of places in Gresham and the surrounding Gresham area, well, at least especially the more closer to Portland you get with Gresham, sucks. So like the more farther east of Gresham you go, the more like kind of chill it gets. But like yeah, even then it's like. I mean, I will say it hasn't really been as bad because a lot of like the shit that normally happens over there is kind of bled into Portland a lot, like with the street racing shit and all this other bullshit. So, I mean, Gresham's kind of hasn't really been getting the brunt of that lately. So. We bug with you. I mean, like, depending how far down the line it is, I mean, it could be feasible. It's just one of those things where that might be a little over ambitious, at least for right now. that'll be dead in 10 years. Well, Jesus, fucking, what the cold? I mean, maybe, probably. I mean, oh wow, I know. It's like, I mean, it's I suppose maybe not wrong, but I'd rather not have to like think about that. He abuses his liver, bro. Dude, that's like the least of his concerns. Abuses his lungs, his liver, his fucking back, dude. Sorry, he's got like some sort of a masochist thing going on. At least a little bit. Do a time check real quick. Cool. Doing Sunday here at the house. Well, yeah, it's technically going to be split between me and my brother, but my brother's mentioned in the past that he essentially would just give it to me, just let me, have the majority of it, or at least like majority of the ownership to it, just because he hasn't really spent much time here when, the house was a thing and all that. And here at the house, so that bitch should move here. I mean, even if I were to maybe sell the place, like I would move somewhere else, either in Milwaukee or somewhere near it, like somewhere near the area. Still around Portland. I mean, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't mind even living anywhere like, that's like fucking like, out in Corbett or whatever the fuck. I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily mind living out there and like doing ranch work, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But it's like, because it's Oregon, like, Portland's like the home base. Seattle's like my little second home. Cascadia's my place, it's like, so, it's like pretty much anywhere and everywhere around here is just like, just my spot. Yeah. Love Portland, but try it. Yeah. Should move to Seattle. Okay. One, no, way more priced out than I would be in Portland. And two, like, I don't have to move there when I could just take a 3 to 2 hour commute, depending if I take a train or drive. You get 45 minutes out of town, and it quickly turns into Magaland. I know. I live in a county that's full of it. I know, yeah. Seattle's way less affordable. Word, my sibling in Portland right now is on the run from a Kansas charge. I suppose your friend probably won't have that much to worry about. As long as he doesn't do stupid shit here in Oregon or Portland. But then again, the Portland cops probably aren't going to give a fuck about, anything that he's doing when there's like street racers and all sort of shit going on. So I'm sure your buddy's going to be just fine. Here, I'll speed run this little bad boy. Get this fucking loaded up. Now, last shit. Then, the other girlfriend. Well, sounds like he's a piece of shit. So, but, I mean, all in likelihood, that just means that the Oregon cops probably, or Portland exception, would do shit. Not a buddy of my trans bro. So they're straight out in Portland? Well, okay, at that point, then, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, when it comes to, like, multi, like, or at least a state where when it comes to that shit, I never had to deal with that because there's no reason for me to, like, try to flee from a charge like in Texas or whatever. It's like, well, I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know if, like, there will be, like, some collaborative shit and be like, whoa, we're going to investigate and get this person. I mean, considering that it's such a, I mean, not in, like, not in a bad way, but it's like one of those things where considering the severity versus, like, a murder, or whatever, I think the priority of trying to, like, go across state lines to catch, that person would just be pretty minimal. Considering it the first time, then you think it'd be more of a priority. But anyway, get myself back to work and all that shit. So, that means, and of course, I'll be back when I get off work and all that shit. Hopefully, it won't be too late tonight, but also, whoa.